Many people think that failure is due to a lack of willpower, discipline, or desire, but the truth is, change is really hard. And understanding why makes everything so much easier. Do you feel like you always want to change but keep returning to square one? Tired of setting new goals only to find yourself failing repeatedly? If you're like most people, there's always a gap between the person you want to be and the person you are now. You've tried so hard, but then you fall back into the old loop. That's truly frustrating, isn't it? Imagine your brain as a dense jungle. Every time you do something, it's like you're walking through that jungle. Initially, it can be difficult and energy-consuming. Your brain absolutely hates expending energy, so it came up with a clever trick. Every action you take leaves paths in your brain's jungle. At first, when you do something new, you only create a small, overgrown trail, but the more you repeat that action, the clearer and easier the trail becomes, gradually turning into a familiar path. If you keep repeating that action for years, that path will become a highway. Traveling on it becomes completely effortless, familiar, and comfortable. And that's precisely why change is so hard, especially as you get older, because your brain's jungle is already crisscrossed by countless highways that have already formed. Routines and habits, two mechanisms shaping behavior. To understand more deeply how these highways are built, we need to clearly distinguish between two important concepts: routines and habits. A routine is a sequence of actions you perform consciously, in a certain way because it has worked for you. For example, you set your alarm for 6:30 a.m. because that's when you want to wake up to start your day productively. Routines are governed by the wise planner in your brain, a slow, analytical part responsible for strategizing and calculating. This planner knows about the future and carefully chooses actions to achieve desired outcomes, even if it's uncomfortable, like taking a cold shower every morning to boost your health, or sitting down to plan your finances. Habits, on the other hand, feel much easier because they are essentially a sequence of actions performed without thinking. You've done them so often that your brain considers them rewarding and an excellent response to a situation. When you do a habit, you're in autopilot mode. You don't need to convince yourself to do anything. You just do it. The most important thing about habits is that they are triggered by triggers, cues from your environment that tell your brain to start that behavior. For example, when you see your phone, you almost always unlock the screen to check notifications. When you get into your car, you automatically buckle your seatbelt. Or when you buy coffee before work, you also casually grab a cookie, even if you're not hungry. Habits are performed by the impulsive child in the brain. It reacts instantly to desires based on what's happening around you, without considering long-term goals. For this child, the future doesn't exist, and it absolutely hates doing difficult work. Specific examples of routines and habits in daily life. Let's look at some common routines and habits we often encounter, and how they operate in everyone's brain jungle. 1. Procrastination, bad habit. Trigger: you sit down at your desk, open your computer to start an important project. Immediately, you see a Facebook icon or a new email notification. Action: you click on that icon, spending 10 to 15 minutes scrolling social media, reading news, or replying to non-urgent emails. Reward: an instant feeling of relaxation, temporarily escaping the pressure of work. The impulsive child in your brain feels satisfied because the tension is relieved. Result: the main work gets delayed. You feel more anxious afterward. And this cycle continues, forming a very difficult to break procrastination highway. 2. Unhealthy eating, bad habit. Trigger: you just finished work, arrive home tired and hungry. Or you're watching a movie in the evening and feel like snacking. Action: you automatically open the fridge looking for snacks. Or order fast food without much thought. Maybe it's a bag of chips, a tub of ice cream, or a pizza. Reward: instant good taste, a feeling of fullness and comfort after a long day. The impulsive child quickly satisfies its craving. Result: weight gain, declining health, and you often regret it afterward. But it's very hard to break the highway of mindless snacking. 3. Morning exercise, good routine, can become a habit. Trigger: the alarm clock rings at 5:30 a.m. You've laid out your workout clothes the night before. Action: initially, you have to use your wise planner to convince yourself to get up, change, and head out. You might feel groggy, but you know it's good for you. Reward: after the workout, you feel energized, mentally refreshed, and proud of yourself. Result: if you consistently repeat this action every day, gradually, morning exercise won't require much willpower anymore. The impulsive child will start associating the feeling of energy and pride with the act of exercising. And it will become an automatic highway, a healthy habit you perform almost without thinking. 4. Reading before bed, good routine. Trigger: at 10 p.m. You turn off the main bedroom light, leaving only a small reading lamp on. Action: you pick up the book you're currently reading and start. Reward: a feeling of relaxation, immersion in another world, and a better night's sleep. Result: gradually, your brain will create a strong connection between reading and a sense of calm and ease of falling asleep. This is a routine that the planner establishes because it brings long-term benefits. And if repeated long enough, it can also become an automatic habit. It's this feeling of instant gratification that's how most of your bad habits begin. Chocolate tastes good. Browse Reddit is sometimes mildly entertaining. This is why you repeat these actions even when you know they are not good for you. The rewarding feeling associated with an action demands to be repeated. And that's how a bad habit is born. Although the impulsive child sounds like a destructive mechanism, it's just as important as the wise planner. And in fact, they work together. You need the planner to think big ideas, solve complex problems like doing taxes or parallel parking. But if you let the planner do everything, it would consume too much energy. Entrusting daily, repetitive tasks to habits managed by the child allows your brain to easily manage daily life while tackling more complex mental challenges. So, if we want to change and incorporate a new behavior into our lives, we can actually use this very energy-saving mechanism to make it easier. A story of transformation: Emily and her battle with the impulsive child. Emily, a talented architect who constantly struggled with procrastination, is a prime example of the battle between the wise planner and the impulsive child in the brain. Emily always had big plans. Every new year, she'd draw up a long list of ambitious goals: complete green design certification, learn Spanish, run 5K every morning. Emily's wise planner was ambitious and logical. It analyzed all the benefits of these goals: career advancement, expanding her network, improving her health. But Emily always faced a persistent problem: procrastination. Every morning, when the alarm rang at 6 a.m., Emily's wise planner would remind her, "Get up, Emily, time for a run. Health is wealth." But immediately, the impulsive child would chime in, "Oh, it's so early, just 5 more minutes of sleep. It's too cozy to get up. Exercise won't happen instantly anyway. Take your time." And so, Emily would reach over, hit snooze, and sink back into another 30 minutes of sleep. Her procrastination highway was just too wide and easy to travel. Similarly, when she needed to work on an important report, her wise planner would set a detailed schedule. But after just 15 minutes of focus, the impulsive child would whisper, "Check your phone for a bit. See what's new, or maybe watch this short video to relieve some stress." And Emily would get lost in social media, scrolling for hours, until the deadline loomed, forcing her to work through the night. Exhausted and regretful, Emily felt incredibly frustrated. She knew what she wanted. She had enough willpower to start, but she couldn't maintain it. Repeating this vicious cycle, she gradually lost faith in herself. The turning point came when Emily stumbled upon a talk about the science of habits. She realized that her problem wasn't a lack of willpower, but that she was trying to go against the established highways in her brain without the right strategy. Emily decided to apply what she learned, starting with the smallest and easiest goal: drinking a glass of water immediately after waking up. Step 1. Break down your goal. Instead of, drink enough water every day, she set the goal to drink 200 milliliters of water as soon as my feet touch the floor. A tiny action, requiring minimal effort. Step 2. Clearly define your trigger. Emily's trigger was feet touching the bedroom floor after waking up. She placed a small bottle of water right next to her bed. Step 3. Repeat regularly, every morning. As soon as her feet touched the floor, her wise planner would give the green light. Although the impulsive child still wanted to snooze, the act of drinking water only took a few seconds. Too fast for it to react. Emily consistently did this every single day. Step 4. Make it enjoyable, though not strictly necessary for this small goal. For this goal, Emily's joy came from checking it off in a habit tracking app. Seeing her streak of consecutive days. After only about 2 weeks, Emily noticed something magical. Drinking water in the morning was no longer an effort. As soon as her feet touched the floor, her hand automatically reached for the water bottle. The impulsive child had begun to associate the act of drinking water with feeling refreshed and the satisfaction of completing something good right at the start of the day. A new trail had been formed. This small success gave Emily enormous momentum. She began to apply the same approach to other goals, with small adjustments to trick the impulsive child. For exercise, instead of run 5K, she started with put on workout clothes immediately after waking up and walk for 5 minutes around the house. The trigger was alarm rings and feet touch the floor. The reward was the gentle feeling of refreshment and the fact that she didn't have to leave the house if she didn't want to. Gradually, 5 minutes became 10. Then 10 minutes became a brisk walk. And eventually, she started running. For procrastination at work, she set a trigger as opening the project document first thing every morning. Instead of diving into social media, she forced herself to work for 15 minutes straight, then allowed herself a 5-minute break to scroll on her phone. Gradually, 15 minutes of focus increased to 30 minutes, then an hour. Her reward was the feeling of accomplishment and reduced anxiety about deadlines. Emily understood that change isn't an endless battle of willpower, but a process of re-engineering the paths in the brain's jungle. She didn't try to erase the old highways immediately, but focused on creating new trails, traversing them regularly until they, too, became effortless highways. After a year of persistence, Emily not only completed her green design certification, but she could also speak basic Spanish, and running 5K every morning had become an indispensable part of her life. She still had her setbacks, but now she had the knowledge and tools to repair her highways. Emily had become the architect of her own brain, designing new paths leading to a better version of herself. How to build new highways for positive behaviors. So, how do we build new highways for positive behaviors? The best way is not to force yourself with willpower, but to convince your brain that it's not a big deal, by creating new routines and turning them into habits. Step 1. Break down your goals. Turn big, vague goals like go to the gym into specific, manageable, and tiny actions. For example, instead of go to the gym, make it 10 squats every morning. Step 2. Clearly define your triggers. This is the cue you will always associate with the action. They can be a specific time, e.g. 8 a.m. A specific place, your living room. Specific items, your workout clothes. Or even better, a combination of all of these. The important thing is that you always start your action in this specific context. The trigger is the starting button that will automatically activate the action later. For example, to establish the routine of 10 squats, make sure you always wear your workout clothes. Perform them in the living room at 8 a.m. Step 3. Repeat regularly. Once you have the trigger and the action, all you need to do is repeat them consistently, ideally every day. If you persist, they will transform from routines into habits, from a trail into a highway. The decision to do squats will feel less like a chore and more like a regular part of your day. Step 4. Make it enjoyable, if possible. To make the new action easier to repeat, try to make it enjoyable. For example, only listen to your favorite podcast while exercising, or do some light chores while waiting for a new game round to load. Find what works for you. Time and persistence. So, how long does it take for the child to take over and establish a habit? It varies greatly, from 15 to 250 days. Depending on the behavior, your personality, and your stress levels, you won't know exactly how long it will take for you. Starting is the easy part, especially in the first week or two. but continuing to do it every day is the hard part. However, I promise, it will get easier over time. There's no silver bullet for change, but the science of habits is a reminder that change is possible. No matter how old or young you are, even if you only end up doing a little bit more good or a few new things, that's still a success. Being a little healthier or a little more knowledgeable is a million times better than being unhappy and not changing anything. Remember, change is a direction, not a destination. Conclusion. I hope this audio has given you insight and motivation to start your journey of change. You don't need to buy anything to improve yourself. This is just an option. But we understand that change is difficult. So we've created this habit journal. It has a detailed guide to help you through the most difficult steps. Track your progress, and is infused with scientific information and real-world examples. This is a true companion for your personal change journey, big or small. Supporting us in this way helps us continue to create valuable content. Thank you for listening. Please share your thoughts on the habits you want to build or break in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other exciting scientific content. See you in the next video.